Hello everyone, it's Cassie and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be my January, couldn't remember what month it was, January wrap-up vlog where I just do my wrap-up, but I talk to you in vlog style right when I finish the book so I can remember what I thought about the books. I forgot to do an intro and an outro, so you will see me at the end of the video in the same situation. I like these styles of wrap-ups better for me because I literally cannot remember what I think of a book by the end of the month if I read it at the beginning of the month. So this is just a better way for me to do a more in-depth review of the book. So if you like it, make sure to subscribe and give a big thumbs up. Comment down below what you read in January, and also if you've read any of the books that I read in this vlog, let me know what you thought of them. And I hope you enjoyed the video. It is January 11th, and I've officially finished 2 books so far this month. The reason I haven't talked to you about the first one, or any of them yet, is because they're connected, they're in a series, and they're both pretty short, so I thought there was no reason to divide them. It is the 4th and 5th books in the Mind F series by S.T. Abby. All the Lies and Paint It All Red by S.T. Abby. I just finished Paint the Town Red, or Paint It All Red, today, which is the final book in the series, so I thought I might as well finish it before I talk to you about the first one. I read a chunk of the 4th one the last couple days of 2023, but did not finish it. Still probably had like half of it, maybe more than half of it left to read. If you don't know what the Mind F series is about, it's basically about a female serial killer who is getting revenge on men that wronged her in a previous life, let's just say. And she ends up in a relationship with a FBI agent who works on serial killers specifically, and is looking into her case, obviously not knowing that the serial killer and his girlfriend are the same person. So it's like divided into 5 smaller books. They're each about, like, let's say average 150 pages. Some are a bit above, some are a bit below. And overall, I feel like this series could get like 4 stars, maybe like 3.5. I think I did myself a disservice how spread out I read these books, because I think I read the first one in like 2021, maybe beginning of 2022. I don't know, I think I read them all each like probably like 6 months apart, other than these last 2. And that was like bad because I did not remember some of the characters, and I think that's also a problem with this book or with this series. There are so many characters and you just like have to remember them all. And that's not working, that's not happening in this brain. So I struggled with that sometimes, that I just like didn't even know what was happening, because I was like, who is this character again? Like, am I supposed to remember everything about them? I think the ending was I'm not like a hater of it, but I think there could have been better endings. I don't think it's as incredible as some people like say that it is, if that makes sense, but it's not bad, it's good. But some people really hype it up like it's like the best thing ever, and I don't personally think it is, but I still really enjoyed it. Does that make sense? Like, it goes with my rating of like probably average 3.5. I'm glad I finished it and I enjoyed it overall. It was a fun concept and it was different, but it's also like great right now because it's very Criminal Minds-esque, and I'm currently watching Criminal Minds. I've never seen it like beginning to end, so I'm currently watching that, and as of right now, I think I'm on season 7, end of season 7, beginning of season 8, I don't know. Those are first 2 books of 2024, and it was me finishing off a series, so I kind of love that. I will talk to you when I finish another book. Sorry the lighting's so weird, but it is January 22nd and I have finished 2 more books, so let's talk about them with this bad lighting. while I clean up from making dinner quickly. So the first one I'm going to talk about is All the Dangerous Things by Stacey Willingham. This one I've been wanting to read for a while. I read, what did I just read by the same author? I can't remember, but I'll put a picture of it if I remember. And so I wanted to try this one out from her as well. And we follow our main character is a mom whose son went missing like a year ago, and she's had no answers, and everyone kind of just, she's finding out how much people believe that she did something to her son. And there's also a storyline from her childhood where her sister died. She doesn't really know what happened. Her parents just won't ever talk about it. And so we get chapters back and forth, and our main character also has issues with not sleeping now that her son went missing. When her son was around and before that, she had the opposite problem where she slept way too much. And now at the start of the book, she's going to a true crime convention trying to get the word out about her son. One thing that was weird just about that part is that people were saying, like, including her ex-husband, that it was like suspicious that she was going to these true crime things and like talking about it. And I just don't get that argument, because they're like saying how it's weird how she's just trying to benefit off of the loss of their son and like the disappearance of her son. But like, that's not what that is. That's trying to get the word out and trying to find her son. Like, she's doing the work. So that was like weird to me. And of course she doesn't have like a great relationship with the police in her town or city, because she's kind of been like on their backs being like, what are you doing to find my son? And so they're kind of like, back off a little bit. So I ended up giving this 3 stars. I listened just to the audiobook, and I'm glad I just listened to the audiobook because it was such like a mid kind of read for me. I didn't guess the twist, but it was kind of like, there was like 12 twists to the twist, so it was kind of wild. I don't know, it was just kind of weird. And I don't think, someone said this on Goodreads, and I think I might agree, I don't think I super love child abduction mysteries or anything like that, or like I'm never fulfilled by the ending of them. Does that make sense? They just never feel worth all of the twists, never feel worth reading all that. But it was like a fine audiobook, and I am glad I got to it since it was one I wanted to read eventually, and I didn't spend $25 on that book just to unhaul it. So I guess that's good. Now let's go back up to my room to talk about the second book, or technically the 4th book I've read this month. Next I read Allegedly, and I was reading it for quite a while by Tiffany D. Jackson, and then I came across it. I was having a really hard time like wanting to pick it up, just to be completely honest. It wasn't gripping me like at all. And then I came across it on Scribd, and then I listened to the last, like, I don't even think I got halfway through just reading it physically, but then I just listened to the rest of it, and I'm so glad I listened to it, because I think I was kind of maybe close to DNFing this just physically reading it. This one we follow Mary B. Addison, who everyone believes killed a baby. She's black, and her mom were babysitting for a white family. This baby ends up dying, and it's like Mary killed this baby, allegedly. She is like put into jail, whatever. We start following her as she is in a group home with a bunch of other teen girls, and it is just like literally awful. She has to work at this old folks home where she meets another person, a guy named Ted. They start a relationship, and pretty early on in the book, she believes that she is pregnant. I think this overall is, in theory, a really good book, and it has like really good messages and a deep dive into kind of how the system is broken, because all of these girls living in this home are like fearing for their safety because of each other. There's lots of instances where like she's getting beat up and like harassed, and like the women that live in the home, like the adults that live in the home that are supposed to be watching them and making them stick to rules and all that kind of stuff, are awful and literally terrible. So I think that was like a really good part of this book, just with a deep dive into that. But a lot of it was really slow and repetitive. So that was kind of where my issue was with physically reading this. I think there are parts, just like small parts, that could be taken out. There's also a really good discussion about how people absolutely hated Mary and thought she was like deserved to die when she was like 10. And there was the discussion about how people would not feel this way if it was a black baby, but since it was a white baby, people with a black child that allegedly killed her, then there was uproar, and then people cared. And that was a really interesting and important part of this as well. I think it could just have been shorter. I think that is like my main thing with it. I've read a couple of Tiffany D. Jackson's books. I've read obviously this one now, Monday's Not Coming, and she wrote in like one of the short stories in Blackout, and I loved that book, and I really liked Monday's Not Coming as well, but this would probably be this will definitely be my least favorite by her. I'm giving this one 3 stars as well. I can unhaul and be okay with it, but I am glad that I finally got to it and read it and didn't unhaul it before I read it. I just don't think I'll ever reread it, and it's not a new favorite, so I don't need to hold on to it. It's been on my TBR for a few years now, so I'm glad I finally got to it. Hello, so it is January 30th, and I finally finished another book. I actually finished this last night, and that was Garnet Flats by Devney Perry, the 3rd book in the Eden series, which I loved. This really helped me get back into wanting to physically read. Since I've been listening to so many audiobooks and I've been so busy, I've just been like stuck in that and having a really hard time picking up a physical book. And this helped with that so much, which I'm very thankful for, because today is House of Flame and Shadow Crescent City 3 release day. And I'm reading that physically, so I need to be able to pick it up because that's a chunker. So it's perfect timing for this to get me back in the mood. The Eden series, each one we follow a different sibling. They're basically the founding family of Quincy, Montana, and so everyone kind of knows them in their town. They're pretty rich. They have like a million different businesses. So this one we follow Talia Eden, who is a doctor. This is the first daughter that we're following in the series. So she is a doctor, and all we know going into this is, because at the end of each novel we get like a introduction to the characters of the next one. So we know from the last one that she's a doctor and she's trying to avoid her ex who came to town, Foster Madden, who is a very famous MMA fighter, but they have a really crappy end to their relationship, and she hates him, and it's been like 7 years. She didn't want anything to do with him, never want to see him again, ruined her life kind of thing. But he's come to her town from Las Vegas to see her, and yeah, it just kind of unfolds from there. I really enjoyed this one. I was kind of scared. I don't know. I just didn't know how I'd feel about it, but because I loved the first one and then the second one wasn't my favorite, but I still really enjoyed it. I don't know, I just thought this was fun with the aspects of him being an MMA fighter and he's like training for his next fight, and then all of these have like some type of mystery to them or like drama that has to do with the law, or at least the first three have, and I really like that aspect of them. The first book had the most of it and it's been a little bit less in each one, but it's still present and I think that's like a fun addition to this story. And I liked when we got to see her be a doctor. It was fun when we actually got to see them do their things. I'm scared for the next one because Steph from Steph Loves just read Jasper Vale, which is the fourth one, and she DNF'd it and didn't like it. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna like it based on the ending of this one. Jasper Vale is Foster's trainer and he marries one of Talia's sisters in Vegas, and let's just say, like, I don't know if there's gonna be like a little sisterly fight over this man or what happens. The way Steph was talking about it, I'm scared. Hopefully I have different opinions, hopefully I like it, but she really didn't like him and so I'm scared. But we will see when I eventually get to that. I'm really happy I picked this up and enjoyed it. Alright, so that is everything I ended up reading in January. I did start House of Flame and Shadow but barely got into it, so I just didn't even mention it in this one because obviously I haven't finished it and I don't have really thoughts about it because I've barely read any of it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to subscribe and give it a big thumbs up. Again, comment down below what you read in January, and if you've ever read any of the books that I read in this vlog, let me know what you thought of them. My favorite book of the month was Garnet Flats for sure. If you don't have anything else to say, you can comment down a red emoji. And yeah, I think that's all from me, so I will see you in my next video. Bye!